What's up, everybody? Good morning. Happy Thursday. This is the morning show here on Stock Market TV. Spencer Israel, JC Parets, Steve Strazza, joined today by Mr. Brian Shannon, the father, the master, not the creator of the VWAP, but the master of and the author of the VWAP books. We'll talk to Brian at 9 o'clock. Very excited about that. We'll talk to Kenny. We'll talk to Sean. Before I bring on JC, did you miss yesterday's little live stream? Let me grab the link right now. If you missed yesterday's live stream, we did, well, not, I say we, I wasn't even there. Louis was there. JC was there, and altcoins were there because it's altcoin summer. And if you're not paying attention, seriously, if you're not paying attention to what's happening in I know we talk about crypto like a little bit on this show, but if you're not paying attention to what's happening in that space right now, you are missing out. Seriously, there is money to be made. So I'm dropping the link in the chat right now. There it is. Check out the replay, and don't be that person that's crying about not buying so-and-so token or coin, in a year or two. I should have had that at 100. I could have had that 50, and now it's at 1,000. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. So there's the replay in chat. Check it out. We got JC here. I know Steve is going to come on in a few minutes. So let's do this, shall we? And yes, and a great point from Adam. Happy birthday, Steve. We'll give him some grace because today's his birthday, so we'll let him show up late. That's fine. He'll be here for Brian, but we got JC here, so drop me a like, please, and let's go.
All right, Spencer Israel. That was like the most anticlimactic explanation of what happened yesterday. I mean, I just need to tell you guys, take what Spencer just said and multiply it times 100. This is the most important thing in markets that we're seeing right now. Throw up slide 3 there, Spencer. Take that. Altcoin summer sounds like a freshman year movie. Right, altcoin summer. Right, throw the real one. Crypto to 10 trillion. That's the one that everybody wants to know.
Okay,
that's what people. Spencer's like, well, we did this little thing yesterday. No, that's bullshit. This was more than just a little thing. Cryptocurrencies going to 10 trillion is not a joke. The global macro implications of something like this, I think, are tremendous. If cryptocurrencies are going to $10 trillion in total market cap, think about what that means for your portfolio, particularly as an American investor. Think about what that means for your technology stocks, right? Which obviously has a heavy weighting in the total U.S. stock market. But crypto to 10 trillion, I think not only is happening, the only reason that we're saying 10 is because mathematically you got to get to 10 before you get to 20 or 30. So throw up slide 2 there, please, Spencer, showing the total crypto market cap as we speak, hitting the highest levels ever. Spencer Israel,
yeah,
very anticlimactic this morning. Why so much? Why were you so nonchalant about it?
I didn't realize I was. I don't feel like I was. But I mean, first of all, the number of zeros are hard to comprehend, right? It is hard to comprehend $3 trillion or $10 trillion. It does kind of break the brain a little bit. But no, look, very simple. You could be a participant, or you cannot. It's free country. It's your choice. But I would rather be a participant and make money than not. That's just me. But yeah, it's all there.
Words to live by. I would rather be a participant and make money than not.
And the biggest thing to me is like I could understand someone thinking that they are too late to the party. That we've had Bitcoin now for 15 years. Okay. It has been, I guess 7 years since that first epic bull run, Bitcoin to 20,000, right? I guess that was 7 years ago already, or 8 years ago, maybe. And so it's been around now for a while. And you had all the ICO thing, you had all the NFTs a few years ago. Yeah, that was the last cycle. All these new coins, all these new companies. I get why you would think that you're late, but actually you're not. Right? That's the point here, is you are not late. Because in the grand scheme of things, as JC loves to say, crypto is kind of meaningless in the grand scheme of things, right? The
Completely
size,
irrelevant. Completely irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant, as JC likes to say.
$3.8 trillion in market capitalization may as well be zero, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, what is this, an NVIDIA?
Exactly. It's one in every crypto. Add them up, equals one NVIDIA.
It's not really that big of a deal, which furthers the point. I don't say, if all the Bitcoins go to zero, all the cryptos go to zero tomorrow, it's not going to matter to anyone who actually matters. When I say that, people take offense to it, like, oh my God, but that's not a good thing. It doesn't matter at all. But I say that as a bullish tailwind. The fact that it's so small and so irrelevant, how much smaller can it get? It's actually the opposite. It's getting bigger. Here's the total crypto market cap, guys. Doing nothing since 22. So we're going on 3 years of no progress in crypto. 3 years. And now we're just getting going. So when Spencer's sitting here telling you, oh, it's not too late. It's so these are still the early innings. And in fact, I would throw up slide 4 there, Spencer. This is, to me, the biggest thing that's happening in crypto markets. And again, if you're rolling your eyes because you're like, oh, I'm not going to trade crypto, I'm not, it's all a scam, fine. Whether you like it or not, you have exposure to crypto if you're invested in U.S. stocks. And I got to tell you,
that is true.
Crypto dominance, Bitcoin dominance in all of crypto completely crashing, like literally falling apart. This thing was at 66 a couple of weeks ago. Now it's 62. This is the percentage that Bitcoin represents of all of the crypto assets in the world. And the fact that this is crashing is not a bad thing for Bitcoin. It's actually a good thing when all of the altcoins are eating into that pie and they are taking a larger percentage of all of crypto. That doesn't mean Bitcoin's going up. In fact, it's the opposite. I think Bitcoin prices go up. They're just not going to be going up as fast as some of the others. And, look no further than what we're seeing in Ethereum there, slide 5. This is, the mother of all of the altcoins. Like this is the queen altcoin over here in Ethereum, and making new multi-month highs relative to Bitcoin, breaking out of this base. Ethereum being a leader, Solana acting well, really outpacing the performance of Bitcoin. Is bullish for Bitcoin, is bullish for crypto assets, is bullish for tech stocks, it's bullish for the stock market. Sorry.
Yeah, look, it's really no different than the dynamics of the Mag 7. Like the Mag 7 are gonna go up the most in terms of market cap, right? Because they're the largest. But what we're seeing now is other companies, other stocks going up way more than the Mag 7 are, right? So it's actually a good thing for everybody, for the whole pie.
Strazza actually considers Bitcoin one of the Mag 7s, which I think is funny. Probably not wrong. Right?
Probably not wrong.
Shall we drop the link, Spencer? If you missed the video that I did with Louis yesterday, it was really such a pleasure. I have learned, most things I know about crypto, I've learned from Louis. So be able to sit down yesterday and talk about what's happening in the market, letting him explain the opportunities, talking about, we've seen this story before. We saw that gold ETF launch in 2004. We saw what gold did after that. We saw the Bitcoin launch, the ETF. We're seeing what Bitcoin is doing after that. We've seen this story before. We know how it plays out. Louis bringing the heat yesterday. Heck of a job, Louis. Spencer, underselling it this morning. Underselling it.
I didn't think I was, but okay.
Spencer, not impressed. Not impressed by the video. I was impressed. Hopefully you are too.
I was impressed too.
Let us know what you think, guys. Let us know what you think. Why don't we do a little state of the markets, a little how you doing? What do you say?
Sure. How you doing?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a Dow futures doing nothing this morning. 44,420 for those who partake. S&P 500 futures doing nothing either this morning. 6,300 up a smidge. NASDAQ 100 futures leading the way today. 42 handles to the upside. That's 23,120 for the NASDAQ 100 futures. 30-year bond futures flat as well at 112. Crude oil up 1% at 67. Copper down 0.2%, 450. Gold down 1%, 33.20. Silver flat this morning at 38, with the VIX not doing anything, but still up at 17. Still elevated volatility over in funny money land. We got Bitcoin at 118, down about 700 points on the day. We got Ethereum up 2% on the day, 34.36, new recovery highs, highest levels for Ethereum since January. Moving over to Solana. Solana also up almost 2%, highest levels in a couple of months, 177 for the old Solana. And Spencer Israel, that brings the total crypto market cap to 3.76 trillion, up about 0.5% on the day, highest levels ever. Spencer Israel, what stands out from this morning's futures?
3.76 stands out. Sounds pretty good to me.
Spencer Israel, very happy about that total crypto market cap. Throw up that chart one more time. Underrated chart. This is not something that that I hear a lot of people talking about. We talk about it here every day. It's almost like even like a joke. But pushing 3.8 trillion in market capitalization. Bitcoin right now around 2.3. You got Ethereum. Ethereum last I checked was over 400. Ethereum pushing 420 on the old ETH, 413 right now for Ethereum. So, got a long way to go to catch up to that Bitcoin. And I think that the altcoins down the cap scale are going to continue to outpace Bitcoin, and that is bullish for Bitcoin. It's bullish for technology stocks. I think it's bullish for the stock market. I think it's evidence of risk appetite, Spencer. That's what I think.
More just kind of more of the same, right? Every day there's another arrow in the quiver for risk appetite, right?
And here's another one. Let's put another arrow in the quiver. I don't know what kind of quivers you're sticking your arrows in, but I'd be careful with that. Can we show
the one that's over your shoulder behind your back,
like Leonardo, like the Ninja Turtle?
Okay. No, like
is it like a golf bag for swords?
Or arrows? Yeah.
Arrows. It's called a quiver. That's a new one for me.
That's called a quiver.
All right. I don't know. I never did archery. Cubans play baseball, bro.
I forgot.
Cubans don't know anything about archery.
Don't do the arrows. Yeah.
No, we play baseball, and then when we're done, we play some more. Can we throw up slide 2, please? There it is. I don't know what these people are so angry about. It's not just angry liberals. It's individuals. We know that the liberals, 90% of them at the last poll thought 90% of liberals thinking the stock market's going to fall. So this is politics agnostic, right? This is apolitical. These are just individuals. And for every bull, there's a bear. I mean, what are these people so angry about? Stock market's at all-time highs, crypto's at all-time highs, the NASDAQ, stocks all over the world, all country world index. Spencer Israel, as a man of the people, can you explain to me the ignorant guy who's just counting, who just does the math? Excuse me, sorry. What is it that people are so angry about?
No, forget that. I want to find the people who are neutral and talk to them. Actually, they interest me the most here. Is the people who are neutral.
Now, listen, rarely do we have as many bears as we do bulls, especially after a historic run like this. You'd think it'd be the opposite. You'd think you see some euphoria. You'd think you'd see some people little.
I understand the euphoria, and I understand why if you didn't know better, you would.
We're not seeing euphoria.
There are bulls on this survey.
There's a bear for every bull, and in this survey, that is not something you see all the time.
So I understand the bulls. I even understand the bears too. I don't understand the neutral people. That's what I want to talk to. What is neutral about right now? There's nothing neutral about this, right?
Can you please tell me that? What is there to be bearish about in this market? Go ahead.
People saw what happened in April with Liberation Day, and they think it'll happen again. That's one thing. What they don't realize is that every time the market gets the same headline, it cares less and less and less and less, right? Actually, we saw this in Trump's first term too, right? So You see it now. There's a new trade war headline. The market shrugs it off in 30 seconds, a minute, right? Doesn't care. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, in a lot of ways, people are always fighting the last war. And so they're thinking, oh, okay, they remember that growth got hammered after that post-COVID bubble. They remember 2022. They remember how bad that was. And they think, okay, it happened last time. It has to happen again, just like that. So they are seeing the same stocks that they probably got crushed on because they were holding the bag. They're seeing all these same stocks come all the way back. SoFi up above $20, for example, for the first time in God knows how long. They're seeing all these stocks and they're thinking, oh, okay, I've seen this movie before, right? Last time this happened, they all came crashing down. All this growth came crashing down. You fooled me once, but shame on you. You fooled me twice. You can't fool me again. So there's that. That's the other thing is they're thinking trade war, and they're thinking that the last time this happened, growth came crashing down. So therefore, it must happen again. And it's not how things work.
Throw up slide 3. We're getting some chatter. Robert says, tariffs, dude. That's what worried people. Not complicated. Tariffs, dude.
That's part of it, for
tariffs,
sure.
Dude. So my strategy, Robert, welcome. Thank you for being here on the show, chiming in. My strategy, for better or for worse, has been every time they say the word tariffs, you buy more stocks, especially the Chinese ones. That's been the strategy, right? So I don't know what planet these people that because of tariffs that we have to be bearish the stock market. Our strategy has been the exact opposite. So I really don't know what tariffs, what would make the market bearish about tariffs. Throw up slide 3 there.
No, you know.
What does tariffs have anything to do with the stock market?
Come on, man.
So when I hear tariffs and people are like all scared about China and the communists and all that stuff, I see China making new multi-year highs. Tariffs or no tariffs, right? I see the short interest still pushing up against multi-year highs. Again, what are people so angry about? Is it really like they watch too much TV and they think that tariffs are bad for the stock market? Is that what these imbeciles are telling your parents' financial advisors?
I mean, I think it's generally agreed upon that tariffs are inflationary, therefore bad for the economy, and they conflate the economy with the stock market, which as we know, can be correlated or can be not correlated, right? They're two different things. They're related but different. They saw what happened in April. They think it can happen again. It probably won't. Because the thing about bad news is once the bad news is out, it can really only get better, right? Right? And
Somebody said something.
And the market is forward looking.
No, so you said that's really something interesting that you just said there. I heard someone say that the other day, and that kind of stuck with me. I don't know where they said it, but it's basically like that initial announcement is like as bad as it gets, and then from there it gets better. Right. I guess. I mean, that makes sense to me, I suppose.
Well, I mean, think of it kind of like, it's kind of morbid, but you go to the doctor, you run some tests. Oh, you have cancer. All right, it's not going to get worse than that, right? Like that's pretty much the worst diagnosis you're going to get. So the elephant, the cat's out of the bag at that point, right? Like worst case scenario, it happened. So you're not going to get cancer 6 months later again. I mean, you're still gonna, I guess you could be in remission, it can come back, but maybe it's not the best analogy. So, but once the bad news is out, the bad news is out. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Okay, it's not gonna you're not gonna react to the same bad news over and over and over and over and over again, right? That's not how things work in markets or in life.
My suggestion for anybody out there listening in internet land is to turn the TV off. Those people are not there to help you. In fact, not maliciously, but just indirectly, they're there to hurt you. They're there. The people on the TV and the magazines and the newspapers and all of this stuff, they're there to help themselves. Quite frankly, as they should. Their job is to make sure that people are distracted from their task at hand, which is to go ahead and make money. They want to make sure that you are distracted from doing that So you're paying attention to what they're saying or what they're writing or what they're producing, right? As they should, because that's their business model. Now, as investors, myself, Steve Strazza, Spencer, you guys there, as investors, we have to be aware that what they're telling us, we just assume it's a lie. Just assume it's either a lie or wrong. Life is easier that way. If you assume that what the pretty lady on the television is telling you is actual facts, you're fucked.
I don't speak for me. I don't assume it's a lie. I just think
No. I'm telling you, life is easier that way. It's easier to make money if you just assume that everything you're reading and writing and watching and listening to, they're either lying to you or they're wrong. Either way, doesn't matter. For me, it's all the same thing.
It just serves you well to just get out of the weeds. I am as guilty of that as anyone, of staying in the weeds and obsessing over the latest retail sales print from this morning or GDP or whatever. The earnings report from last night or this morning from TSMC. Oh my goodness, right? But just get out of the weeds, right? Just zoom out is really, I think, a lesson that's probably served me the best.
I got one more chart, and then we'll go. We'll turn it over to we got Kenny Glick in the house. I'll throw up the three slides there. Start with you, and we'll work our way down. Then we'll get into Kenny here in 1 minute. So we're talking about no inflation here in the chat. No inflation here in the chat. I don't know. Bond market starting to price some of that in. I don't trust journalists. I certainly don't trust economists. I don't trust sell side analysts who work at a bank in 2025. Like, if you work at a bank in 2025, you cannot be trusted. So none of those people, all those people, useless to me, right? Unless they all agree on something, in which case they are useful, because we're going to take the other side of that, right? But just assume all of them are useless.
They have their purpose.
So who do I trust, right? Who do I trust? JC the cynic over here. Who do I trust? I trust dogs, and I trust the bond market. That's it. Dogs and the bond. Dogs aren't going to let you down. And the bond market is a real market, right? This is the big boy market. This is the big boy sandbox. And what we're seeing is inflation-protected treasuries relative to nominal yielding treasuries making new multi-month highs. So it's not what the economist tells you about inflation. It's certainly not the pretty lady on basic cable. It's not about that. It's what the bond market thinks, right? And the bond market's starting to price that in. So when I think inflation, what's the first thing I think of? Next slide, Spencer. I think oil, right? Gold already made its move. Copper, biggest day ever last week. Also new all-time highs, making its move. What is the logical next asset behind gold and copper? In theory, it's crude oil. But to quote the great philosopher, one Yogi Berra, in theory, practice and theory are the same, except in practice. So does it necessarily mean that oil needs to follow those other two? It doesn't mean that, but the bond market's certainly pointing to that. So that's really interesting. And then finally, and we'll get to Kenny now, the commercial hedgers, the most long ever Bitcoin. They've never been longer. So what that means is that the speculators, these asset managers, these hedge funds, these individual investors are actually the most net short Bitcoin they have ever been, ever. I ask you again, Spencer, Israel, what are these people so angry about that they are shorting Bitcoin at the fastest rate ever before? What are they so angry about? Is this the tariffs too?
Well, this one's a little harder for me to justify, because I really don't see the connection between like tariffs and Bitcoin. So, and it's all-time highs. It's not like it's at like prior cycle highs, right? The train has left the station, all-time highs. So I don't really know.
Largest net short position by speculators ever.
My only guess is this is simply a function of the fact that there is more avenues to short Bitcoin these days. You can short it via the futures. You can short it via the ETFs. You can short it via any of these stocks and any of the leveraged products tied to those stocks. So that's my only guess as to
large institutions, speculators that actually matter, they're going to use the futures market.
Yeah. So
I mean,
Yeah, I saw it. It's just a guess. I really don't know. I don't know.
Man, Topher says old men yell at orange coin. Exactly, bro. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand the anger. I can't imagine what people are so upset about. I mean, I think Sean said it yesterday in a meeting. Politics has something to do with it, sure, but like, how many angry liberals could there possibly be? It goes beyond that. There's angry Republicans, and there's angry libertarians, and there's angry atheists. I mean, there's just so much pessimism and anger out there, and I'm here for it. I love every second of it. So I want to thank everybody, all of the angry people out there who are fighting these trends. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't be making so much money. So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. Shall we?
Sure. We? Kenny, you here? Let's do it.
Woo! It's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my clock, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola. Yeah.
Whole existence in life is to trade this. You don't exist without this trade. If you're not taking this trade, you should just shut it down and call it a day, call it a career, and move the fuck on. What's up?
Who are you yelling at?
My kid.
Oh.
He wants to work here. I'm going to crush this kid's skull in a vice because we got a trade that works every time it shows up for a decade. Here's an idea. When it shows up, take the trade. You see, that's what you do here. That's all you do. Hi.
The leads are weak.
You're weak. You want to work here, trade. What's your name? Fuck you. That's my name. Anyway, what's up, y'all?
Coffee's for traders only.
Yeah, you call yourself a trader?
Let me ask you this, Kenny. We're talking about angry people, sentiment down in the dumps still, Bitcoin, crypto. We're getting Bill said the number one angry guy is Donald J. Trump 24/7. Listen, he might appear angry to you, but this particular angry fellow that you say is Donald Trump, he's buying stocks. He's telling people to buy stocks. He's buying crypto. He's telling people to buy crypto. Right. So
what it comes down to, there's two groups of people. There's the people that are buying stocks, and there's everybody else, right?
Listen, if the president of the United States tells you to buy stocks and you don't buy stocks, you're a fucking idiot.
I agree. And April 9th changed the world. I mean, you'll never.
Literally, the president. You don't think the president has some inside information?
Yeah. I mean, that's why, like, I got plenty. I'm a deadhead, so I'm surrounded by. They were out protesting. Oh, he's taking away our pension. I was like, buy the dip. No one person's ever going to break this market ever. So get back, put down your sign, and go buy some QQQ.
Dude, the president of the United States literally tweeted out to the world, "Buy stocks." And there were people out there that said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Right. And I'm not a fan. Everybody knows that. But the dude let you front run the biggest bull market move in history.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you like the guy or not. Who gives a shit? You could hate him. You could love him. He could be your brother. He could be your cousin. Who gives a fuck? He's the president of the United States. If he tells you to buy stocks and you don't listen, you're a moron.
I'm with you, man. And right now, that's what this market's all about. Just go get something. Get the money. I mean, you want to hear something? Here's a great story. We're trading Lucid today and OPEN, right? OPEN and Lucid. I just met a group of new people. Thank you, everybody, for joining the room. It's nice to, everybody's been making money first day here. I'm hearing that people have paid for their yearly subscriptions already. But I asked people to go on a hunt, find the dirtiest, grossest stock you could think of because they're about to rip. And somebody brought me Open, and I was like, "All right, Open." And I was like, "Oh, a Kathy Wood loser stock. Look what this thing's done."
Perfect.
And then you got Lucid. I'm like, who even knows this car company even exists? It was barcoding. Next thing you know, robotaxi news. And look at Lucid today. And again, let me show you what I'm trading here. So just briefly, and obviously we just all got paid by UAL. That's what I'm yelling at my kid about. The earnings reversal trade that hasn't failed in 3 years, kids. 3 years. This trade setup has worked to provide a winning trade. I'll show it to you in a second. But let's show you how the anatomy of what we're doing here comes into play, right? You don't have to be the first one in, right? Our scanner picked it up and we got in late and it was still a decent trade from 280, right? 280 got you up to 370. And then it came crashing down and beautiful double bottom VWAP break, Buy it. Get involved. You got it. The stock is telling you here. You're giving you a chance to buy it on the dip, and now you're breaking back over VWAP 311 with a 12 or 15 cent stop, and you're in. And next thing you know, the stock pops. These are 20% moves. This is the greatest trading I've ever seen in my life. But the trade that I talk about that hasn't failed is this one. You came in this morning and you saw UAL down after what Delta Airlines did, and you're thinking this stock's going to stay down in this market? Are you nuts?
In this economy?
Right? So all you're waiting for is the confirmation of that bias. Okay, so Kenny says the market never goes down. UAL, okay. It looks like it's red right now, and then it breaks over the 1 minute, gets over the multi-day, and then it goes green and rips 4 points. Woo!
And the crowd goes wild.
This is the greatest market ever. And now, not only do I own a stock that a cryptocurrency, now they turned SRM into Tron. The symbol is Tron, people. The symbol is Tron.
Is that true?
Yeah, they changed SRM to Tron. Let's freaking go.
Hold on. Is that really true?
Yeah.
So SRM rebrands to Tron, adopts Tron as the new. So this is SRM Entertainment.
Yes. We now know it as Jeff Bridges. Yes. Tron, baby.
But what was SRM before that?
SRM was it's just one of those, they just do the micro strategy thing. That's all you got to do. So basically I'm going to be going public soon. I have it all figured out. My coin is called Goop Coin. Go up. And what does it do? It goes up. Buy it. All right, we're in, everybody. Let's go. No, this is the greatest market ever. Seriously, I've never been excited. I never thought I'd be this excited to be a trader ever again in my lifetime. It is one after another, my friends. One after another.
No, if you're doing it, you got to do a SPAC. You got to be as shady as possible. You got to do a reverse merger SPAC. Because if you're not, if you're going to have a go up coin, or meme stock, and you're not doing a SPAC, then you're not going full throttle. You're half-assing it.
Gotcha.
If you're going to be shady, you got to really be shady, right, Spencer? Tell him.
I mean, yeah.
You know what? This goes to what
I was saying before, though. This goes to what I was saying before. Everyone is looking at Open Door, and they see, I remember Open Door. I got crushed in Open Door. I got destroyed in Open Door. Right. Okay, I've seen this movie already. Open Door is gonna make it might go up to 10, 20, whatever. It's gonna go back down because that's what happened last time.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. Every one of these. The funny thing is, I've been around so long. This wasn't even Open Door. I remember it as being Open Table. Okay. I don't even know what happened to Open Table, but this was a different brand. But anyway, this is it. This is the greatest market. And when I talk about this trade that never fails, you got to be taking these earnings reversals. They work every time. And then you want to go trade yourself some Lucids and Opens and Trons and some S-bets. Do it with the high quality trades first. And then you could go venturing into the muck. And right now, the muck, the Andy Dufresne's, we're coming out of the muck on every trade. I'm seriously, is Enron still a stock? Because it's going to start ripping any day now. So,
dude, Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, do any of these still trade on the pink sheet somewhere?
Blockbuster's out there somewhere. I think.
Hold on, Spencer, does it?
Bethlehem Steel, baby. Yeah.
Maybe not anymore. There were some zombie companies
for a minute, right?
Yeah, they did trade for a while. There was a viral prank a few months ago. Someone did a video about how Enron is relaunching, but it was just a joke. But
it wouldn't surprise me one bit in this market, though, right, Kenny?
Yeah.
I'm actually a little bit surprised it hasn't. Isn't there like an Enron coin?
There's always rumors of Blockbuster still trading somewhere on the pink sheets with Teldar Paper and Aerotine Industries.
Dude, Teldar Paper, wow.
Yeah.
You can find pretty much anything if you go deep enough into like the gray market, which is what it's called, right?
Is that what it really is called? It's called the gray market?
Yeah, there are tiers of the OTC markets, and like the bottom tier is like the gray. There's like you have to like call someone to like do you have any of this? You know what I mean? It's one of those things, but
yeah.
Kenny, one more. What's on the radar? Give us one more. We got Brian Shannon in the house, Shannoni in the house.
You know what? The odd thing is Pepsi's in play. My old pal of Alcoa reported earnings. I have to watch it, but Pepsi just went parabolic, which is kind of weird. I'm looking to probably play a pullback on that. But Alcoa reported. I'll keep an eye on it. It's kind of dead money. I remember Alcoa used to be the beginning of earnings season. It was so exciting. It's like a lost soul now. But What was the other one I wanted to watch? Well, you got to watch this Tron because it's so close to, just a crazy breakout. And SBet, I think.
I was going to say, your SBet.
Once we got over 37, listen, I only promised 37, and we got it yesterday. Anything above 37, I put this on you guys now. Under 37, you got to get the hell out of this thing. But over 37, hang in there. You might, if it makes another turn above pre-market highs, it really could go ripping to $56. And they just created they didn't have options above 41 up until this morning. So there was no way for the shorts to protect themselves. That's why I thought this thing was easily going to rip to 50. But now they have options up there. The thing is, they expire on Thursday. This is where you could trade some SBet options relatively cheap because they're expiring tomorrow. So definitely watching that. And that's my story, and I'm going to stick to it. But I'm sure there'll be some weird stock flying by 2 minutes from now that we never heard of that goes up 800%.
Listen, cut your kid some slack, all right? You were a little bit of a knucklehead in your early days as well, okay?
Right. But imagine
you're definitely not a knucklehead now, though. Definitely
I said to him, if I had a chance to sit next to somebody like me when I was just getting started, I would be glued to him. And like I was, and I still mention my mentor, Isaac, who basically taught me everything I know. And all the stuff from the early 90s still plays out today. The Dash for Trash, the Faux Show Bros, the shaking and bacon. And it's just, he'll get it. He'll get it. It just, he needs to react. He needs to react.
Get him some books to read, Kenny. Get him a few books.
Still a little timid. You got a book for him to read? Yeah, he's reading The Art of War, which is a good start.
Dude, The Art of War is like 3 chapters, bro. It takes you 20 minutes to read the goddamn book. So it's not going to take him that long.
Richest Man in Babylon. He's watching.
Richest Man in Babylon. Excellent book. Excellent book, Richest Man in Babylon. I highly encourage, look what I'm doing here. I highly encourage him to read technical analysis using multiple time frames. Technical analysis using multiple time frames.
Brought to you by Brian Shannon.
Well, that's the anchor review. That's book number 2. He should read that one. But for your kid who's younger, read the first one first.
By the way, before we go, Brian Shannon, I think I'm the only one on earth that has an autographed bottle of tequila from Brian Shannon.
Wow, look at that. I think you might be the only one.
One good thing came out of that stock to its meeting and meeting Don Corleone.
How about that? All right.
Thank you, Kenny.
Peace.
That actually, wow.
Let's see what Brian thinks about that bottle of tequila.
Hold on.
What?
This is important. Before we get into Brian, throw up slide 2 quick.
Okay.
Slide 2. For those not paying attention here, markets are moving, stocks are flying. Ripple's up 7% today, pushing up against all-time highs. Look at the size of that base. Look at the size of that base. This is Ripple. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Ripple XRP pushing $200 billion in market capitalization. Don't sleep on this one. None of the cryptos out there look anything like this. This one's doing its own thing. So don't sleep on the Ripple. Louis thinks it's a scam. I hope it is. All
right, let's bring on Brian.
All right. Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Oh, Mr. Brian Shannon. Hello, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Hey, Brian.
It's a bull market, baby. Act accordingly, Brian.
It is. I sold a little bit of Ethereum last week and bought XRP.
Woo!
I should have sold the Bitcoin, but that's just kind of the staple holding.
What do you do?
Staple holding. All right.
Yeah. Well, Brian,
hold on, Strazza. You just got here. All right. Settle down, buddy. Settle down. All right. I know you're all excited. You're coming to the big city tonight, having dinner with JC. I know it could be very exciting. I understand. I actually met Brian Shannon in New York City, as a matter of fact. Shout out, Brian Shannon. So for those of you who don't know this, and then we'll get into Brian, but this is really important for people to understand a little bit of history because the kids these days, they don't know, Brian. They don't know. Brian Shannon is a pioneer, ladies and gentlemen, a pioneer. I remember vividly in 2005, 20 fucking years ago, racing home after work to watch Brian Shannon's videos doing technical analysis on financial markets. I mean, literally nobody was doing it. Him and this other guy, TK. That's it. There was nobody else. And TK's long gone. He's out in Florida playing golf somewhere. Brian's still hitting it hard. A pioneer 20 years ago. And for those of you who don't know, Now you know. Technical analysis using multiple time frames. Must read if you take your portfolio seriously. You got to read it. It doesn't matter if you're a day trader, swing trader, long-term investor. It don't matter. Multiple time frame approaches is far superior than just focusing on just one time horizon. Brian Shannon taught me that. Brian, you're the man. We love you.
JC, well, look at what you're doing. You're amazing. Thank you.
And then here's the new book. Shout out. Why don't you tell the folks about the new book in case they don't know?
Maximum trading gains with anchored VWAP. We talk about, Kenny was right there just talking about it. He's got his copy of course, and he's a big fan of the VWAP. So, you know, it's laid out. I think it's the best indicator there is. It's price, volume, and time. It's truth. It's supply and demand. It's not, you know, weird mathematical formulas that are hard to understand. It's supply and demand. And I've got a lot of background about it, how to use it, specific strategies. So I don't know what else to say. That's, you know, look at the Amazon reviews. They're all there. They're you know, don't take my word for it.
Facts only.
Can we give a happy birthday to Steve Strazza? Everybody together now. Happy birthday to you.
Thanks, guys.
Happy birthday, Steve.
JC didn't know it. He found out this morning. He's taking me out. He's taking me out for dinner for my birthday tonight.
We're going to Korean barbecue.
How old are you, Steve?
37.
Okay.
Yeah.
37. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, well. No, but it is surreal. Not to make this any more of a fucking love fest. Thanks, JC. But it's honestly surreal for me to be on this threesome with these two guys. I don't think there are any two people who've had more of an impact on me and my career, my money-making skills. JC for the inner market and putting the puzzles together. Brian for just all the trading, the VWAP stuff. I mean, you guys are my two guys. So it's so cool that we get to do this. I know we'll do it again, but it's special for me.
Appreciate you. Diddy got out. Threesomes are back. Threesomes are back. I don't know if you heard, Brian. Brian Shannon, you know, I really want to talk about anchored VWAP. You hear Kenny all the time talking about VWAP, and you know, every single time Kenny's like, Brian Shannon. You know, Phil Perlman calls him Shannoni. The only person in the world that calls Brian Shannon Shannoni.
This is true.
This is true. I know you brought a few slides with you. Why don't you tell the folks what the hell these lines mean? Why should we care? Why is Straz always pounding the table about it? Why is Kenny always pounding the table on it? What's so fancy about these lines, Brian?
It's the truth in the market. It's who has control from a certain point. So, you know, institutions use them for their order execution, and they'll defend those levels. A volume weighted average price from an earnings report. You'll see the stock gap up. Maybe it goes sideways or up, you know, a little bit of misdirection for a day or two, but then you start to see it ride that volume weighted average price for the next several months. I mean, it's really amazing how you can see a program turned on. So when we're looking at this NASDAQ chart, for instance, on the left, we have the green line from April 7th. The April 7th low, of course, is the bottom of this market. And we use that along with that blue line, which are now in the same place, the thick blue line, that's the year-to-date anchor. Then as we saw that gap up, that black arrow that points to that gap up, that was an important move in the market. And again, we had a little bit of misdirection in there, but we've been riding above that. So if we start to pull back in this market, which there's no evidence we're about to, but if we do, we'll be looking at key levels of interest on the downside. That red line is the 20-day moving average. A lot of stocks have been riding the rising 20. And if we pull back down to the anchor from that gap, that was a sentiment shift in the market. The market said, okay, buyers are back in control in a big way. That level is likely to be defended. And that green dot, that's exactly where it ties the 50-day moving average as well. So anytime we look at markets and we see a confluence of indicators in the same spot, meaning, you know, we have the 50-day moving average and we have that VWAP, and maybe it's a 38.2% retracement, let's just say. What we're looking at is, why do buyers show up at the 50-day moving average? Because they're trained to do so, not because there's any magic to the 50-day moving average, other than a lot of people look there and they say, a hedge fund might say, hey, we're two standard deviations away from the 50-day moving average. Let's short it down to the 50. So they start to cover at the 50-day moving average. Let's say there's another hedge fund that says we're, X% above the VWAP from that move. Let's short it down to there. So it's supply and demand. It's telling us that there's different people coming to the same conclusion in the same spot, which strengthens that level as a possible place where support will be found. So I'm not calling that support, but it's a level of interest on the downside that's highly likely to find support, just like we see, I've been pointing to the IPO VWAP and Circle. It's just been amazing. It's been dead on. Same with, a lot of these stocks. But on the right, what we're seeing is a 30-minute time frame. And that black arrow on the right is the same black arrow on the daily time frame. So that was a key low. That's where this most recent momentum campaign began. So yesterday we saw the market hold above that. The SPY came right to it. The blue is the month to date, and you can see we've been riding that week to date volume weighted average price. Month to date is the blue. So we look at these and we say, okay, are the buyers, when we get pullbacks, are they showing up in the places we want them to, or is there actual damage being done to the market? And so far, the buyers are showing up where they're supposed to. So all these angry people who are short and looking to get short and not believing this,
No follow through.
It's following through to the upside. There's no follow through to the downside. Correct, Steve? Yeah. So is that a good start on an explanation?
Yeah, I love this. And Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but you use index charts like this to kind of gauge how aggressive you want to be in the equities market. You mentioned Ripple coin when you first came on. Do you do the same thing for cryptos? Like, will you look at charts of Bitcoin and I almost use that as an index and say, okay, if Bitcoin's above the 2055 green light, maybe I want to get more aggressive, go down the cap scale, look at an Ethereum, Solana, Ripple, whatever. Are you kind of using a similar model for cryptos as you are for equities?
Pretty much. Those are the only four actually that I'm actually trading and actually have a position in is the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and Solana. So I don't think Ripple is going to go generally without Bitcoin. Neither is Ethereum. There'll be weird times when it does, but generally, Bitcoin is the crypto market, and if people are feeling good about that, then it's going to go down the chain, like you said.
Yeah, I like that. What do you do in environments like this? I feel, we get these red candles, we get these big down days, which happens in a bull market, like we both just mentioned. Lack of follow through for the most part. We had big, bearish engulfing candles a couple days ago. No follow through. They bought them right back up yesterday. But on days like that, if you're super long, you're getting hit pretty hard. How do you kind of monitor your long exposure when the market is this good? You're getting long. You got a lot of longs on. Do you try to kind of check yourself and watch your exposure?
Yeah, to me, it's each stock based on its own merits. So I'm taking profits along the way as they rally. So I'm really, I do have some long term exposure, but I'm a trader at the end of the day. So I'll get into a stock on day one. Yesterday I bought Archer. I took a third off because it hit daily R2. And I pointed out a big short position in there. But if you look at the history and the personality of the stock on a daily chart, how have rallies typically been met? You're going to get the shit kicked out of you if you hold on to this stock too long. So you look at that stock versus something a little bit more stable and, progressive exposure. And, I'm still holding some General Motors from 49.5. General Motors isn't a sexy trading stock, but it gave me a good buy. And I'm more comfortable holding a third of my position at this point in General Motors, then Archer makes me a little bit more nervous. Archer's got an ATR of 13% or something like that.
That's crazy.
Actually, it's only 6%, but that's probably about to expand pretty good here. So it is each stock based on its own merit, Steve. But on those big down days when they gap down, I have what I call a 5-minute rule. So if my stop, let's say I own a stock at 50 and my theoretical stop is at 49.25, meaning I never set my stop before the market opens, because on those down days that reverse so quickly in a bull market, I don't want my stock stolen from me. So I have what I call my 5-minute rule. So if my stop is 49.25, but the stock opens at 49, I'm not going to sell at 49 and just throw my stock away. Instead, I wait 5 minutes, and then as minute 6 begins, I mark the low of the first 5 minutes. It might be 48.73. My stop will then go to $48.71 per share. As the stock, if the stock recovers, great. I'll still be in it. I'll raise my stop up, or maybe it comes down through that level and I lose a little bit more, but I have a strategy. I'm not using an emotional response. And that's the thing, is that, emotions do exist in the market, and people are recognizing we have to recognize our emotions, but don't let them get the best of us. That's why we have strategies. That's why we have techniques. That's why we have discipline to say, I'm not going to get caught up in the emotion of it. Just because some tariff headline or whatever it might be.
Yeah. I love that. A lot of mistakes can be made in the first 30 minutes of the session. No?
Absolutely. And that's why, for stocks that gap up, something I wrote about 20 years ago, chase the gap or wait for VWAP. It still is a beautiful strategy for today. If I've got a stock that, I want to buy it above 25 and it opens at 25.50, it runs to 25.80, and then it pulls back down to 25.40, but then it reclaims VWAP at 28.55. Well, then I'll buy it above there with my stop below the low of the day, because that's where, when we get back above that VWAP, it tells me the buyers are, the sellers had their little shakeout. They had their little fun trying to crush this stock, but they couldn't do it. The buyers are back in control. That's the winning team that I want to be on, because the longer term time frame is aligned here. I'm not going to fade these moves. I want to be aligned with the trend, and on that very short term time frame, that's the time it tells me to get involved.
That's awesome.
Brian, if you could take a step back for a second, how did you start going down this rabbit hole? I've been following your work for so many years, and just over time, you've transitioned into, like, you've become the VWAP guy, right? You're the guy. Like, how did that first start, and why did you keep digging and digging and digging and make all the discoveries that you made?
Hold on. Brian, so good to see you. Love you. JC, see you in a little bit. Chat, thank you for all the birthday wishes. My Uber's
Happy
here.
birthday.
Bye, guys.
Strazza is heading to New York City this evening. But yeah, go ahead. Enough about Steve. All right, we're here to talk to Brian Shannon.
I used to use a software called Realtick, and Realtick had this thing. They had regular trend lines. You could draw a trend line up, down, sideways, whatever. And then they had this one called VWAP, and I was like, well, what the hell is VWAP? And I tried to read about it. There was nothing to read about, but I would just play with it and say, wow, the stock really respected that. So back in those times, you would just draw a trend line. Like if you were going to draw a horizontal trend line, you would drag your mouse horizontally, and then you would have a horizontal line. On this one, you would drag it horizontally, and it would move up and down based on the VWAP from the point you're starting that. So they also had a daily VWAP on the chart. They didn't have 2 days. I found a hack for that. But basically what happened is I just started playing with it and just realizing there's some magic here. I don't understand why. Then I started figuring out, well, what is VWAP? It's supply and demand. So
this was what year? What year you think this was?
That was probably 04, 06, somewhere in that, 20, 22 years ago. And then about 9 years ago, I think it was, I still was using Realtick, and then TC2000. I was, familiar with those guys and friendly with them. And they said, hey, Brian, we'd like you to use our software. You should take a look. I said, listen, you're great software. I like it. I've been a fan of yours. If you do this for me, then I will use Realtick. And what I requested was that they put a point and click anchored VWAP. They were the first ones to do it. That's when it really became really huge, light bulb moment for me, JC, is that instead of playing with this silly little horizontal line that I couldn't really get much, it was difficult to use. It was clunky. Then with the point and click anchored VWAP, TC2000 was the first one to do it. And in fact, if you look at TC2000, you hover over it, it's called anchored VWAP by Alphatrends. That's when the floodgates opened, because TC2000 had it. People were talking about, I was talking about it nonstop, as you know, on X and YouTube. And then other softwares started to say, hey, what's going on here? We're missing out. And now it's everywhere, except Thinkorswim. Get your act together.
What was the first broker? I know you've been talking to everybody and getting all anchored VWAP on all of these things. Who was the friendliest early on? And is it Thinkorswim that's the last one that just doesn't want it?
They, I don't know. I know for a fact, JC, that they have had probably tens of thousands of requests for a point and click VWAP. Theirs is really clunky. Yeah, you can say, hey, I want to anchor it to this day, but you got to type the date in, and you can't adjust on the fly.
Yeah, but you can create your own. Like Kenny has he created his own and he wrote the code, right? Or got someone to write it for him.
And that's great, and there should be those. I mean, that's good, but it should
not
be
the point. It should have its own.
It should have its own. You shouldn't have to make these workarounds. If you call yourself a modern, state of the art charting tech platform, and you don't have VWAP, you're not serious. That's if people have to create their own hacks to get it done. It's that important. I can see creating little pet indicators based on the moon phase relative to Fibonacci and the Japanese yen. If you want to create that indicator, go knock yourself out. It's going to be important to you. Best of luck with it. But this is true supply and demand. This is what people are doing with their money. It's the truth of the market. There is no better truth. I mean, price action itself, but from a single point. If you pull up that chart of APP that I sent you, we can see that
throw that up.
The anchored VWAP from the recent high on that daily time frame. So we've got a stock that's pulled back on the left, right to the blue year-to-date anchor and the green anchor from the April 7th low. And it's finding support there. Support's great, but support doesn't mean it's going higher. So what we want to say is, where do the buyers take control? Well, we had that uptrend from April 7th up to basically June 1st. Then we started to pull back. Well, that red anchor is the anchored VWAP from that peak. So it tells me what's the average price that shorts are involved, that longs are involved, that everyone is involved from the highest point here since that move. And we're basically fighting it right here, right now. So if we drill down to that 30-minute time frame, we can see it with a little bit more precision. And now we're starting to look at it and say, if it can break above here and then set a stop down near about 345, the low of 2 days ago, then this stock looks like the buyers are regaining control right at that point. That's where the trends become aligned, because we don't want to buy the dip from 420 down to 350, because you're just throwing your money away. And we don't want to buy when it's going sideways, because you're just wasting your time. We use charts to leverage time, to say, I want to be in at the right place in the right time. And getting above this level tells me 100%, or on average, the short sellers who shorted this thing are now losing money. The longs are now making money. So the psychology shifts amongst the participants. The buyers are feeling like, wow, we survived that pullback. We survived that waste of time as it went sideways. Now we're back in control. Let's press the guns. And then what are the shorts going to do? They're going to say, hey, we got this one wrong. Are we going to let it continue to just bleed us out? Or are we going to start to cover? And then we can, look at it and say, the shorts are likely to cover in here. Because how do you relieve your losses? You start to buy. So again, I kind of rambled there, JC, but there's a real example of one that's looking ready to get going, based on VWAPs on two different time frames here.
So I want to reiterate something. You can take the slide off, guys. For me, what makes the most sense is when you think logically. I know people have a hard time with logic, but for me, in bull markets, in uptrends, the people who own the asset are making money, right?
Yes, of course.
And the people who don't own the asset are watching other
money.
people make money. And if they're short, they're losing money. We know that, facts only. Things that are going up, the people who own it are making money. But how do you quantify that? How do you say, oh, the people that own it are making money? This is how you do that.
Well said.
Is it wrong how to think that I think of it that way, or you think that that's right?
That's exactly how to look at it. We're trying to say, not what do people say, because the bull bear sentiment, people lie on that shit all the time. This is what people are actually doing with their money. I can tell when the buyers regain control. It doesn't mean they're going to maintain control, but I can set my risk parameters based around that and say, this is the onset of a new momentum campaign higher, it appears. So I want to be involved in this because I'm on the winning team. We're running downfield. Now's not the and there's no tacklers, there's no defensemen around. Why would you think he's going to trip on his shoelace? He's a professional in the NFL.
Yeah, because Brian, people are always driving around at night looking for red lights, right? I mean, that's how humans think, right? They're so scared, man. These people are so scared.
Not this human. I don't know. I don't get it, JC, and I don't think you do either. You like to make fun of them, but I just look at it and say,
no, it's not so much make fun of them as it is
marvel at the stupidity. Yeah. And marvel at it. I mean, just to look at it, and like you said, think of things logically. It's just not logical to think that this NFL player who has 50 yards of green field and no tacklers between them, if you bet he was going to fumble, you're an idiot. It's just stupid. And same thing about betting.
Well, Leon Lett,
when it's going
Florida
up.
Gator, Leon Lett in the Super Bowl. Remember, he was like ready, and then Don Beebe came from behind him and smacked it down. Remember that?
I don't remember, but I'll take your word
and
on
every
that.
Every year, you get a couple of guys that are running into the end zone, and right before they get in the end zone, they throw the ball up in the air, and it's actually a fumble, right? You get those guys too every now and then.
True, but bet on that and make money consistently.
Yeah, hard to do. Hard to do.
Right.
We want to bring on Sean. Can you bring on Sean, guys? He wants to say hi. A fellow Colorado resident, Sean McLaughlin. You guys going to bring him up or not? No?
Hey, Sean.
Good morning. My ears perked up when you started talking about Don Beebe. Great shout out, Don Beebe. I love it.
Yeah, great shout.
No.
I was hating on the Florida Gators while I was doing that. I don't know if you caught that part.
I caught that. I just
all right. Just want to make sure that didn't go over your head. All right, good.
Yeah, I just wanted to pop on real quick before Brian left. Brian, good to see you, buddy.
You too, always.
We've talked about Brian Shannon being, the leading light in the VWAPs talk and all that stuff, and that's all true. But one thing we don't talk about Brian very often is that, Brian, you are a trendsetter. And let me explain. I was riffing a couple weeks ago because it was brought up in my meetup group that we've had 1,300 traders come through the meetup group here in Colorado. But you know who was the first one at the very first meeting 13 years ago? One Brian Shannon.
Well, Sean,
started the trend.
Don't give me credit for your work. I mean, you're the one who's done this and consistently every 2 weeks, one north of in the Boulder area and one in Denver. Your commitment has been amazing. I mean, you're the glue for this thing. I just pop in once in a while.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And hey, next week we're having kind of a special meetup. First time ever, Brian. We're having one here in my town in Lyons. So I know it's a little bit of a drive for you, but if you want to come on up, we're going to be hanging out in Lyons next week.
All right.
I got one more question for Brian. Brian, how many days on the slopes did you get this year?
I had 47.
Not bad. Not bad.
So JC, my season begins though in 5 weeks. I'm going down to Chile.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Dude, are you serious?
Nice.
I've always wanted to go there. You know that they speak Spanish there, Brian.
They do speak Spanish.
So then you know.
Wait, I want to echo Sean's point. Today is our 521st episode of the morning show. Who was the guest on the first morning show?
Brian Shannon.
It was that
first episode.
Yeah.
And we didn't get canceled or anything. How many episodes, Spencer?
521 today.
Are you serious? How is that possible?
Oh, we go every day.
And we've been doing this for over 2 years?
Yeah. Yeah,
wow, 500 episodes. Ain't that some shit?
Wow.
I wouldn't have guessed it was that many.
Congratulations, guys.
Oh, thank you. How many episodes on for you, Brian, over the years for your show, for your videos?
Oh, I don't know. No clue.
You know what I would encourage everybody to do? Go to Alphatrends YouTube channel and then sort by the oldest ones and go see like his original ones. And he's like, oh, how does this work? I don't know if you've done that. I did that years ago. And he's like,
those videos working? Are so old. Those videos are so old that Brian has a mullet in those videos.
Actually.
Okay, well, you'll have to verify that for yourself.
Fake news. All right, we're gonna hop. Brian Shannon, you're the man. Everybody, go to alphatrends.net. Check out his work there. Read his books. When you're done, read them again, and then let us know.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Good to see you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian. I'm going to go and recount that there actually is a slight chance today that it might be our 500th episode. I'm not sure. I have to go back and look.
We have to have like a proper celebration. For
I know.
We need a
I
proper
know.
celebration.
I know.
I'm going to start the celebration now. I'm heading into the city. Love you, Sean. Love you, Spencer.
All right.
Everybody in the chat. Adios.
All right, Sean, you got anything to add, or was that it?
No, we can end it right there.
Okay, we're ending. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brian, Kenny, Sean, chat. We'll be back same time tomorrow. Knuckleheads, drop me a like. Thanks for watching.
See ya.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.